Hi, today we're going to be making a paper collage using notebook and printer paper, or notebook or printer paper, or both. And we're going to be focusing on or exploring both symmetry and positive and negative space. Okay, so let's start with positive and negative space. Okay, for positive and negative space, the positive space is actually the object or the thing that you're creating in your picture, and then the negative space is all around it. So in this picture, the positive space is the chair, and then the negative space is all around it. Okay, so the red words and arrows are pointing to the negative space, and the blue words and arrows are pointing to the positive space. Okay, some artists and graphic designers like to play around with positive and negative space. So in this picture, this is by Shigeo Fukanda, and he's a Japanese graphic artist and designer, and in his picture he plays around with the positive and negative space by, if you look at it one way, the white legs and high heels are the positive space, and then the black pant legs and the loafers are the negative space. You can also look at it though, so that the black pant leg and the loafer is the positive space, and then the leg and the high heels become the negative space, or the space all around it. Positive and negative space can also be played with to create optical illusions. This one is by sciencesource.com, and if you're looking at the white area as the positive space, it looks like it's a vase, okay? And then the black space around it. If you're looking at it that the black shapes are the positive space, it looks like two people looking at each other, and then the white space is the negative space all around it. So it's fun to play with, fun to think about doing different things as an artist with it. Okay, so we also said we were going to talk about symmetry, okay? And thanks to numeracy.com, this is a symmetry card with vertical symmetry. Vertical symmetry simply means that there's a line right down the center of the object, and when you fold it in half, it's exactly the same. So things that have vertical symmetry are, in this card, there's the apple, an arrow, a flower, a butterfly, a heart, a house, an airplane, and a ladybug. So just some ideas about if you fold something in half, vertically or up and down, it's exactly the same, okay? And then when you open it up, it's the same on both sides. It's actually just the reverse on both sides, okay? So this one, I created a tree by folding paper in half and drawing it on the fold, and we're going to show you how to do that. And in this side of my paper, the tree itself that I cut out is the positive space, or the object, and the negative space is the paper around it. In this one, where the tree's been cut out, is the positive space, and the negative space is the paper that's left over, okay? Same thing with the girl. The girl is the positive space on this side, and the cutout of the girl is the negative space on this side. Same thing with the heart. Heart is the positive space here, and the negative space is the background. And here the cutout is the negative space, and the heart itself is the positive, where it's been cut out is the positive space. And the same thing with my bear, okay? So we're going to have some fun creating this. What we're going to need to do to create our project is have a piece of printer paper and a piece of notebook paper, or they can both be the same, but one, we're going to use our peeled crayons, or our sideways crayons, and we're just going to create color. I like to kind of mix my colors around just by pushing that side of that crayon, so you get lots of different color, okay? And then when your whole paper has color and it looks the way you want it to, we're going to fold it. We're going to start by holding it in the portrait, up and down, or hot dog direction. I'm going to take this side and bring it over to this side and make a nice hard fold back and forth like this. Then I'm going to take the bottom of my paper and bring it up to the top of my paper like this. And then leaving it folded, I'm going to bring the bottom of my paper up like this again, okay? And when we open it up, we're going to have a piece of paper that has color with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces, okay? I'm going to move that aside for a minute. And then I'm going to take my plain paper, whether it's notebook paper or another piece of printer paper that's white, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it in half this way, holding it hot dog or portrait. Then I'm going to bring the bottom to the top like this, okay? And then I'm going to bring the bottom to the top again like this, okay? And then leaving it folded, I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut like this. And then I'm going to open one side just once like this, and I'm going to cut it like this. And I'm going to put the rest of them that haven't been cut aside, because actually we're only going to need 4 pieces of paper that have been cut, okay? So let's open this and cut this like this. And I'm going to open this like this and cut this like this. So we're going to have 4 pieces of paper that will actually fit on top of those blocks that we folded over here, okay? The reason we only need 4 is we're going to use both pieces, the piece that we cut out and the piece that's left over, because remember, this will become our positive space object, and this will become the negative space here, and the cutout space will become the positive space, okay? So I want you to start thinking about things that are symmetrical, like we talked about the ladybug and a house. Even a person's face could be symmetrical, but we don't want ours to have too much detail, okay? So you're going to hold your paper in the long direction like this, okay, in the landscape direction, and we're going to fold it in half, okay, so that the fold is right here. And then think of something. What would you like to cut out? It could be something as simple as a heart. If you want to do a heart, you're going to draw starting on the fold. Don't go all the way to the top and don't go all the way to the bottom, because remember, we're going to want to use the negative space as well as the positive space. So I'm going to draw my heart up, over, and down like that, okay? And it's kind of important, I want to make sure that I am leaving space at the top and space at the bottom like that, okay? And I'm only drawing half of it. I'm going to go over it with crayon just to make sure you can see it. Half a heart, and here's the folded side, okay? The open and closed side is not what we're drawing on. We're drawing on the folded side. Then I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut only on that line I just drew, okay? All right, and so I'm going to have those ready. All right. Then try and think of what second thing you're going to want to do, okay? So here's the cutout piece that's a heart, and when I open it up like this, you can see that even the negative space one will form a heart when I put it down, okay? For my next one, I'm going to take my next piece of paper, I'm going to fold it in half like this, and this time I'm going to draw a little tree, an evergreen tree, okay? So I'm on the folded side here where I'm drawing, okay, right here on the folded side. I'm going to go out a little bit like this, like I'm going to draw a zigzag line, go in a bit, out a little bit, in a little bit, but remember, I don't want to go all the way to the bottom or all the way to the top, okay? So I went down a little bit from the top like this on the folded side, zigzag, 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 and then just did a little rectangle for the trunk. Then I'm going to pick up, leaving it folded, pick up my scissors, and I'm going to cut just on that line like that, okay? And remember, I only want to cut on that line so that when I open it up, I have a tree for my positive space item, and my negative space also, when I open it up, is also a tree. Then when you have all 4 of your shapes or items created, you're going to put one on the one side, okay, and one right across from it on the other. So then I'm going to put my heart here and the other heart over here. I like to alternate them back and forth because it feels like it looks a little bit more interesting. And then when you're all done and you have them all glued down, it's going to look a little bit like this. Okay? So today we learned about symmetry, positive space or the objects within a picture, and then negative space, what's all around it. So have fun creating your symmetrical items, cutting them out, and have fun and be creative.